Well, we are back from our little break.
Cheers.
How's Johanna doing, Sammy?
Huh?
How's Johanna doing?
She good.
The henna?
Johanna, the bartender?
Oh.
Oh, no,
She's
the,
doing
No,
good.
so not your,
Bartender.
not your henna.
Cute bartender.
Johanna, the bartender.
oh,
Yes, the very cute bartender. How's she doing?
she's doing good.
Okay, well, I know you went to go say hi. The bartender is, by the way, both very talented and she's a knockout. So
She's very pretty.
we like her. Anyway, so we're back. We had just left off with the dramatic reveal that the time lapse had seen in her dream an unraveling timeline.
Dun, dun, dun.
So
I did.
we pick back up.
Was it good enough?
Everyone's, we're just a few moments have passed. Various staff members are talking animatedly with each other about it. You get the impression that a lot of these folks are multidisciplined, right? They've got a military profile, but they clearly are all very educated, and they have different ideas and theories and stuff like that. I do want to establish that the time is not an absolute defined thing. There's things your character's still learning about. So yes, what you felt was very visceral and very real and, as you say, ineffable, but there's a lot to discover. There's a lot of mystery for you going forward. However, as you guys are all kind of taking that in, alarm sounds go off, and Kanoa goes from wearing just like whatever kind of casual clothes he was. His image shifts, and he's in full-on, basically field gear style image, and you're not getting like the screaming red, nobody can hear anything, klaxons or anything like that. But there's definitely lights flashing, indicating a certain alert level, and we are getting reports off the coast of Mexico, near Puerto Vallarta, that a ocean liner has been hit by a sudden and described as freak storm. They are in great trouble. Mexican Coast Guard is attempting to respond, but this falls within the Pacific Rim region of our mandate. And the commander's like, well, sooner than I anticipated, but a chance for you to go and prove your mettle. We'll get you set up on we will go ahead and have you go out on the Tsunami class cruiser that we have called the Avenger. His captain is Milton Benitez, which was one of the people who came in, by the way, and he looks over. He's Argentinian. Right, well, I will see you at the dock. And he takes off running. Your mission, of course, is to assess the situation, find out if there's any paranormal influences going on, and, of course, help everyone. Well, let's get to it.
Right.
I imagine some of you like grabbing a last whatever to eat.
What I'm gonna do is like as they're going, I'm gonna like go to pretty much each plate and just like grab as much food as I can.
You get an eye roll.
Yep. And
Do
just
you know that you're being paid very well now, and we're not going to starve you?
if this turns into a fight, this sugar is gonna be needed. Trust me.
Oh, doctor. Well, doctor. Yes, I know. We will have to look into a more efficient way for you to have the glycerin that you need.
I hold up my flask. It's like the espresso will work for like little short bursts of energy, but
Yeah, but that is not healthy. We will have to find something that is more biologically appropriate. Don't worry, I will make it tasty as well. I can cook up a mean monster drink.
heck yeah!
I think that Paleo, like, to get back faster, transforms into like a dire wolf and just is running through the halls to get back to his room to grab his gear.
My
So-
God, I'm going to have to study that.
As the alarm sound and everybody starts doing what needs to be said, I stand up, I wreath myself in flame, and after the flame dissipates, I'm in my full regular gear with my sword across my back. I go to the nearest window, it opens, and I take off.
Right, so you guys are headed down. You will have found out that among the other vehicle features, I mean, there is an actual VTOL air station, but there's also an actual dock with a bunch of seacraft because the Pacific Rim is y'all's bailiwick, so oceancraft is going to be important. You have 2 Pegasus-class rapid deployment VTOLs, including the Seahawk, which is your custom craft. That's the Pegasus class is essentially your Quinjet for all intents and purposes. This one has been modified. All of them have submersible capabilities. This one's been modified to operate as almost as good as an attack sub. 3 Rock class transport VTOLs. They're like much more the bigger, carry heavy gear and machinery into the field kind of thing. And 2 Phoenix class assault rescue VTOLs, which are going to be more like gunship kind of things. That's obviously what your backup military and your Code Red Zero people would use. The Tsunami class cruiser, which is the biggest ship that you guys have here, and it is like a full-on military cruiser type vehicle. The little flotilla that the task force that's assigned here includes 3 Sand Shark class frigates, 6 Barracuda class corvettes, and 4 Angler class combat subs. Which, by the way, at some point, if any of you feel like giving them names, I will leave that to the rest of you to figure out what their names are. That's just their classes. But anyway, you guys are getting aboard the Tsunami class cruiser, the Avenger, as it's called, and yes, totally a throw off to. Thank you, Marvel, we love you. So anyway, so you're headed off. You get the information that you get is a cruise ship known as the Delfin, which is basically Spanish for dolphin. Faces disaster off the coast of western Mexico. So the rules for Prowl's Paragons include how to handle disasters. And there's minor and there's major disasters. This one was going to be a minor disaster, but as you're approaching, there is in fact a highly focused, fairly small, but just very violent storm. And as you're approaching, you can see this cruise ship is just. Have you guys ever seen some of the YouTube videos of cruise ships suddenly in horribly rough seas? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that times 3. It's really bad. It's like seriously raising up and going down, and there's just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So that being the case, with a minor disaster, there are 3 established tasks that you guys are going to have to address. And you guys are going to figure out how to team up on them, and you're going to figure out how you're going to use your powers or your abilities to use them, and then we're going to go through and deal with it so that we see how successfully you resolve the disaster. The first thing is you're going to have to rescue overboard passengers, because this thing came up so fast, people were still outside before they could get inside undercover, and some of them, are probably lost, but there might be some savable, and there are some that they've had boats thrown down to them, they've had life preserver stuff thrown over to them, but they're in these horribly storm-tossed seas. So that's one of the things you're going to need to do. You're also going to need to deal with the damage and injuries on board. So, because again, what's happened is the ship has been tossed, stuff's fallen all over the place, people are trapped under furniture, they're trapped in their staterooms, there's water coming in different places, so there's all kinds of stuff going on board. And then finally, and this is going to be the real devilish one, you need to get the ship out of the storm, because this thing is like intently right there. The ship's obviously not going anywhere. It's completely out of control, and the storm is incredibly intense. And the ship's just going to go. It's going to submerge. It's going to collapse if you guys don't figure out a way to get it out. So, get ship out of storm. So that being the case, how you guys want to approach this?
I was thinking Paleo could probably take the first one, just turn into a giant aquatic dinosaur.
I was thinking pterodactyl.
I
was thinking pterodactyl fly
something so you can
I think
but
the
I
flyer
pick
should
people up.
take care of that one.
I could also be helpful with finding passengers that are trapped on the ship, though, because I do
That's
have
right,
multiple beasts that have acute senses, so I can do tracking and things like that.
Okay.
But I think I should start with overboard passengers.
So, thing is, they're all going to be kind of semi-simultaneous,
Yeah.
and so you kind of going to have to pick one of the things that you're going to focus on. So
I
you'd
can
be
deal
thinking
with
about that.
the-
Time lapse, where are you thinking?
I can deal with the damages and injuries because I can turn back time on the injuries and on the damages.
Yeah, and I can help you out with that if you need, because I can throw holy fire at anything. At the
With
injuries
the
and
people,
heal it.
I would
Yeah.
suggest you throwing holy fire.
And you know,
Hardly
eight might is very, very strong.
Yeah.
It is and enormously stronger. So
Yeah.
you're not weak when it comes into going in and like lifting up heavy stuff. What about Sunburst? What do you?
I'll get back to that because none of these really like my abilities don't really help with a lot of these. I'm trying to figure out.
Which is means you're going to have to challenge yourself to look at what you know and what you can do, whether it's your superpowers or not.
Yeah, give me a second.
Sure.
I need to.
No problem. Shalendra.
She's actually going to be using mainly her motion control and flight abilities to help rescue the overworld passengers by helping calm them down and let them know that help is definitely on the way and that we're here to resolve the situation.
So I'm not hearing
We need
anyone.
to get the
Whoa.
ship out.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing
Okay.
anyone dealing with getting the ship out.
I'll do the most I can. Is I'm gonna go up to like where the captain is and try to figure out what happened and how we can what's happening with the ship, like mechanically, and see if we can find a way
I'm
out.
going to ask a question. What do you have for vehicles? Your vehicle's talent.
6.
Really?
Yeah.
Well then, all right.
Yeah.
That's that is. I didn't
I was
realize you
gonna
were
just
as
warn
good at
you.
that kind of stuff.
Push
So,
That's actually what I was thinking.
so Sunburst is up there dealing with trying to get the ship out of the storm.
Yeah, so I'll switch my focus. Yeah.
So
I can.
I'm gonna have Mordrill switch his focus to getting the ship out, because I have the environmental immunity. I can
Yeah, I can
dive
like, tell
underwater
you.
and just try to push it out.
Also, since we have the communication thing, I can
Yeah.
like help you. Like this is what we
Like,
need to
if
do.
if
Oh, are
like
you
one of the
setting up
system
the-
failings.
Yes, I would have taken the time to set up
Yeah,
the
for the
mental
mind.
link as we were getting ready.
So Sunburst and Mordriel are working on
All right,
getting the
let's
ship
go.
out.
Let's do this.
So are you just working on damage and injuries on the ship?
Yeah, I think after that I could.
Well,
I don't know if it would work. That is the problem. But I could
Well,
try
gotta
turning
try.
back time on the storm. It would take a lot of effort.
You're concerned. Well, you're pretty sure it's too big.
Okay.
That's out of the realm. I mean, you would have to push yourself beyond your breaking point to affect something that big.
I mean, you could try with like little spots of the storm that we go through.
Think I'd be
But
best
the
with
actual
the
physical
damages.
space, the
Yeah.
amount of space you
Yeah.
can cover. So mechanically, what that would be is you would be trying to stunt expansive,
Yeah,
and
that would be a lot.
I'm gonna impose some penalties on that. That would be really, really hard. Not impossible, but really hard. And then we're back to Paleo and Shalendra helping try to find and rescue overboard passengers. Is that it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think you're going to be able to handle all of the
Yes.
damage and injuries on the actual ship, like
Yes.
getting people out from underneath things and stuff like that? All right,
I
cool.
can turn back on the
I
damages
was about to say
so that
she
they're
can
not
turn back
underneath
one of
things.
damage.
Okay.
All right. So you're using various animal forms and stuff like that, and you're
Yeah.
trying to calm people down, help find them. What else are you doing?
I'm also using emotion control.
Right, to calm them down, yes. I heard that part. But what about perception or any of your other powers or
I
abilities?
am using my super senses with my Ridicus hearing and astral sight to see if there's anything off about the weather as I am flying around in it.
Get back to me on that part. However, we're going to go ahead and say that you are going to be in the assist then, with you as the primary actor.
Okay.
And pick something you want to roll that represents the overall effect of what you're doing. Honestly, at this point, I'd be happy with you just rolling your rank in animal forms, representing all the different things you could do as different animals.
Yes, that works for me. It's
Okay.
11.
This is going to be hard, though. Right? This is going to be a threshold of 4.
Okay, I have 11 dice for this.
So you,
Would I be rolling to assist?
well, you do not roll to assist. You get a +1 die on this.
Oh,
So
okay.
you get 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
5. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, 5. It's kind of.
So you succeed, but not overwhelmingly so.
Yeah.
Can I add some cinematic to that? Just
Yes, absolutely. Please do.
I think it starts with like We were in submersibles.
No,
Or-
you were
on the cruiser.
You
On
were
the
on
cruiser.
you're on the actual cruiser, which is as the captain is just bore right into this storm
Okay.
fearlessly, and apparently the Avenger can handle this kind of weather pretty decently.
I think that Paleo goes and he takes a running jump and just dives into the water, and as he's going in, he transforms into, I think an ichthyosaur would be the best for this, just almost like a dolphin, and he swims through and he finds people, and then he jumps out of the water and transforms into a pterodactyl and is using his flight to carry people onto the ship from the water.
Okie doke. You can bring some people to the Avenger. I mean, it's a cruiser, but an entire cruise ship full of people, there's no way to get them on that ship. There's just the room is not there. But so you're handling that, and Shalendra, you are helping Spot, as he's kind of swimming around, saying, no, go over here, go over here, go over here. So the two of you are working very well on that. Like I said, hold on to that where you said you're also going to try to get a sense of the storm, because that is a key plot. That is key plot information. But let's get to that later. Meanwhile, on board the ship, there's collapsed building stuff. There pianos flying everywhere. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Time lapse. What you're going through using your time control powers in different ways to try to help people.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to call that a threshold 5 because there's a lot of damage and a lot of screaming and a lot of panic, and you're having to quickly use all these different uses of time to
Okay.
do this.
All right.
That was not a good roll face.
Well, it's not a good roll.
So I
but
couldn't tell for a second, just like that.
Yeah, you can always tell when the dice rolls. If there's a lot of odd numbers on the dice in this game, that's what that
You'll
face
know.
is.
I got a 7.
Ah,
You'll
wow.
get an odd feeling.
Then
Disturbance in the force.
you also got a solid success. Not an overwhelming success, but a solid success. Meanwhile, Sunburst and Mordriel,
Okay.
you are working on trying to get the ship out.
I have some questions.
We always have questions.
Before
Yes.
is the storm stationary, or is it moving?
It is
moving
moving.
with the ship.
It's not moving fast.
Okay. Where is the ship in the center? Is it more to one
Yes.
side? It's in the exact center.
Well, not exact, but it is
But-
towards the center of the storm.
How wide is this storm?
Why do you ask? Because I don't have miles or anything like that in my head.
Yeah.
So I need to know what the answer you're actually looking for is.
Well, if I know, if we could figure out what's happening with the ship, and time lapse can undo a good amount of the damage. If we're more to one side of the storm, and depending on again how big the storm
So
is,
the
we
point
can
is-
veer it out of the
Right. This isn't one of those escape room puzzle challenges.
yeah.
It's near the center of a small micro storm that's a freak storm.
Okay.
You just tell me what it is you want to do. You don't worry too much about the details of how big or wide it is. It's cinematically interesting is what it is. So
Well,
you're looking to
okay.
see what path, and you're looking to see if you can use your vehicle skills.
Yeah, I'm trying
to-
to find out what path is best to try to get the ship to.
Got it. So that's your focus, and that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, those are good questions. I don't think in terms of those kinds of details. I think
Yeah.
in big cinematic. So the ship is near the center of it. The storm seems to be moving, but if you can get some velocity going, you feel strongly you could get this ship out of here.
Okay.
So right now you're working with the captain. Well, actually, you're not working with the captain. You're working with the captain is completely knocked unconscious coma. The first officer is banged his head and is bleeding severely and is kind of freaking out because he's never been in this kind of situation before.
Okay, so they're no
most
help.
of what's left of the crew on the bridge is starting to realize she really knows what she's talking about. Yeah, ma'am. What should we do?
So I'm gonna have them explain to me what because my mechanic skills mostly come from acquiring motor vehicles.
Right. Yes, but a vehicle score 6 means you can fly, pilot, ship. You can pilot,
Yeah.
fly, run anything.
So
You can fly a spaceship.
yeah, so I want to
Hop in,
figure
yeah.
out okay, because ships usually have a larger control panel. I need you to tell me what's going on over there. I need you to tell me what's going on over here. I'm gonna figure out what's
This is
going on over
engineering.
here.
We're ready to go on the restart the engines. Anytime you're ready to throw those switches. So you're running all that. What is Mordriel doing?
I had an aerial view of everything because I didn't spend much time on the Avenger. I teamed up with everything and then I took off because I like the aerial view. Bird's eye view is good for me. and I saw more of like the bird's eye view of where the ship was in relation to the rest of the storm, and I'm like, if we veer it west.
Alright, so you're
It's
providing
on,
guidance.
it's on the western side, and so then after that, I just kind of dive down into the water, and after she gets the rudder steering the right way, I just
You're
go.
physically pushing.
I'm physically going full force, like I'm adding some Iron Man type fire shooting out of my feet to give me extra push.
And
Got
like
it.
as he reaches that, like I have them turn on the engines again, like full power as soon as he hits, so it's like double
Got it.
force pushing forward.
You don't need to roll.
Okay.
You're supporting her.
Okay.
Alright.
You're
it's
rolling
you
your
get to roll.
vehicles, but with the cool ideas and his assistance, you get +2 dice.
Nice. So you're at 8 dice.
Threshold 4.
Threshold 4? Alright.
Let's do it.
You got this.
Oh no.
No.
Is this when
no.
resolve
So
comes
remember,
in
you're
handy?
counting evens and just count double.
I know.
I think this is when resolve is good.
1.
I was
I
gonna
think
say,
you're the person.
I'm gonna
yeah.
throw a resolve at that.
Okay, you're throwing a resolve for her to reroll.
I'm giving you encouragement. I'm pushing this ship really hard.
Alright.
So you are in fact rerolling.
Please don't do that to
This
me
is
again.
important.
Don't make me do it again.
Okay, that's a little better. That's a lot better. That was a
Spicy.
4. 1, 2.
That doesn't
What's
count.
it? 3. Crap.
That
1,
rolled
2,
over.
3, 4,
it was
5.
something that was not 3.
Yeah,
I don't know. What it
when you
was.
pulled it
think
out,
you
it was
have-
even. It got.
Yeah.
it got-
Oh, okay, so it counts as an
1,
even.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you got a significant. Well, yeah, we'll call it a significant success as you push the ship out of the storm, and you know it's moving very quickly. You know, everyone's kind of like, whoa! But, you know, the ship's moving way faster than it normally should. But you're getting it out of the storm. You managed to pull a significant number of people out, including people that just were otherwise going to be lost between her vision and your going underwater. You just little moments of pulling them out of what otherwise would have killed them or hurt them very badly, helping reverse injuries and stuff like that to various degrees. As the ship is leaving and you're looking back at the storm, I'm going to need you to make a. You have astral sight, so go ahead and make a perception check.
I'm cosmically attuned, so do I get anything? Do I feel anything from the storm?
Take a +1 from him, and
I have attuned magic, detection magic, and I also have astral sight.
roll +2 dice.
So I don't think my super senses help with this, so I'm gonna continue to get the ship.
Mine's just see really good right now.
What is the threshold?
3.
120.
Wrong game.
That's not what we meant.
Not a critical roll.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. There is nothing magical, but there's nothing natural about that storm.
Look for a machine.
So you don't see any kind of
Weird figure.
you don't see any unnatural images or spirits or anything like that. But at the same time, the natural spirits of storms that you would expect to see are not present either. Now,
So they're kind of out of commission?
so I'm going to ask you to make a academics check to kind of interpret what you're seeing, unless you
I
have
have expertise in occult.
that actually will not apply here.
Oof.
So you can either roll science or academics.
Look for a machine.
Machine!
As long as it's not me looking for it, because my machines gonna suck.
3.
You don't really know for sure what you're looking at, but something of science perverted strikes you.
Is this being shared through the telepathic link?
Yeah,
Can I make a science check?
yeah.
But I am relaying all of this information through the mental link.
Nice.
So everyone knows this.
So we're all
4,
just being...
so 1 better.
Well, actually, it's important because
Oh,
you're a scientist.
yes.
You are a scientist.
Science.
You is science.
Science.
She was rolling. She was rolling on her academics. I'm assuming. Yes, Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy, you were rolling on academics.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where she interpreted. You were rolling on science. And this is a meteorological anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
You're aware of the existence of some weather control technology. Some of it's highly advanced stuff that's Earthborn, but some of it's extraterrestrial nature. And the recent Mayatech-Meldanian War would possibly account for some new tech being in the hands of a lot of different criminals and masterminds and stuff like that. This is something that's been discussed in the scientific community extensively.
Okay.
Is how much advanced alien and interdimensional tech has fallen into all kinds of the wrong hands. So, by the way, that reminds me, I was asked to remind everyone that one of the things that, as you were looking at reports and stuff like that, there was an outbreak of zombies and strange supernatural creatures popping up in various cities all around. In fact, Honolulu had an outbreak. Fortunately, their local superhero team was able to deal with it pretty quickly, but this is something that I forgot to mention earlier in the background, is something that's been going on, which is very much necromancy and supernatural stuff, but this is not.
Okay.
But whatever that was, whatever's doing that, that's impressive and it's powerful.
I'm passing that on. I'm like, we're messing with something that's not quite what we're used to here.
All right, so as you get the ship free of the storm and are moving it towards Puerto Vallarta, what are you doing? As the ship is out of danger, people are being wrapped in blankets and everyone's screaming, and people are, as soon as they get cell phone access, screaming, and they're going to demand their money back and other kinds of stuff like that.
America.
Do we have the ship just completely back online, like it's going on its own? I don't have to push it anymore.
You don't have to push it anymore. No, it's still a mess, and they're definitely asking her to please stay at the helm to get it docked.
Okay. In that case, I go throughout the cruise ship and the Avenger, going by any passengers that we picked up, and just putting holy fire on them, just to kind of A, warm them up, B, just kind of start to heal anything that didn't get caught by anything
So-
else.
Yeah, healing. By the way, there's only so many points of healing you can
Yeah.
do per thing, so it's going to be the most severe injuries that the two of you are going to be focusing on
Yeah.
mostly. But yeah, that you will be able to save some lives, and you will definitely be able to make a lot of people feel a lot better and calm them down.
That's the point, because I'm an avenging angel.
So,
I'm the Avenger.
so you guys, like I said, you get back to the port and get things docked and stuff like that. So you're looking at the passengers. You've gotten the ship into dock. Are you doing anything afterwards? Because you're convinced, based on what you were looking at, this ship was targeted by
Yeah.
that storm.
So then I'm going to ask the crew members more in depth. It's like, okay, now that we're calm, I need you to tell me better what happened with less screaming. And I'm also, because this was a super stressful situation, my wraps have dried out and are actually starting to heat up. So I'm gonna have one of them go get me ice so I can just cool them down, so I can cool down.
Okay, that's cool. You get a resolve for that.
No.
That's very cool. So they tell you that. Well, actually, let me get back to you on that, because you're questioning and stuff like that. I'll come back around. I want to establish what everybody's doing, but you're currently questioning the crew about what happened. Shalendra, what are you doing?
After I helped calm the general individuals down, I am actually going to go ahead and help out with Sunbursts on the questions by helping with emotion control to keep them calm and level-headed, so that way they're more willing to share such information.
Okie doke. Trying to remember, is your emotion control one emotion only, or is it full on emotion control anything?
It only has the note of signature, and it's at 12, or not 12D, but 11D.
Right, but you don't have any limitations on it.
Correct.
So you can invoke any emotion you want.
Yeah.
So I wanted to clarify that. Time lapse, what are you doing?
I'm going to try and continue working on the damage on the ship.
Okay.
Specifically the damage, making sure that all of those beams that fell down, maybe not if they were on people, everything that was kind of, broken is going to be fixed.
Wow, you could be making like gajillions of dollars and just
Construction.
damage repair, stuff like that. Insurance companies
Contractors out of
would
business.
adore you. Paleo, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to transform into not a full-size direwolf because I don't want to scare the crap out of these poor people, but I just want to transform into something it's furry, it's comfortable, something that can go around and comfort people and provide comfort, almost like how they
A service
put
dog.
dogs in at hospitals and things like that to comfort people.
So you're basically an
We have a
extinct breed
giant-
of dog,
yeah,
We have a
yeah.
giant support dog.
like a proto dingo or something.
Yeah, something along those lines, and just going around and providing comfort. Especially if there are any children, just trying to make people feel better.
Okay.
Turn into fluffy
so-
You're
balls.
the emotional support person. I love it.
So
Ooh,
Chris,
that's
That was
great.
awesome.
Sorry, folks, for how loud that inevitably
Yeah.
was.
Chris by 5.
Crisp.
All right, so what is your investigation score?
6.
Dang, you're like one of the greatest investigators that ever lived. You know that?
Yes.
All right, so
That's a brag or anything.
seriously, you would impress Sherlock Holmes. So you're starting to get a sense that, as with the conversations and all that, there is definitely something more to the situation than just a random cruise ship attacked randomly.
So I'm gonna ask some of them like if they're carrying anything illegal on board that might warrant an
Make
attack.
an investigation check, and you get +2 dice because of Samantha's use
1, 2,
of
3,
her
4, 5, 6.
powers.
Yes. Please don't be like my first roll.
And this is opposed. Collectively, they don't necessarily show a mass. It's not like they just want to necessarily tell you, but you're getting a lot of extra dice on that. So I only got 1 success.
Yeah, I think you got your butt whipped.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
So the first officer is trying really hard in his dazed state to kind of like wave them off, but at some point the engineer pops in and I'm done. I'm quitting this line. This is ridiculous. The Montenegro cartel can find another way.
Oh, great. All right.
So you are able to discover that yes, in certain places, in certain places, certain hidden compartments that are on the ship.
I'm gonna ask for a full because
Yeah, I'm skipping ahead to that part.
Yeah.
They're giving you everything.
Okay.
The chief engineer more or less takes over and tells them to drag the first officer off. The captain's out anyway. He does say, "I'm requesting asylum. This ship is actually owned by a company that is owned by the Montenegro cartel, which is based out of Ecuador, and they use their cruise ships and their party boats, and they use all these other things for mostly drug and contraband smuggling. They have a great deal of things below.
All right.
That is, I don't know when our enemies started using storms to attack a ship, but I'm telling you, that was not natural, and I'm certain the way that came up and the fact that the lightning bolt very specifically hit my main power plant, like the first time, the first up, it was targeted. It was like us. It was like that Storm Rider from Uniso came and attacked, but she wouldn't do that to us, I don't think, unless she knew we were criminals. Which, I am no criminal. I am a cruise ship engineer. I just happen to know that I'm working for criminals.
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn to you and be like, okay, let's try to gather the team as much as we can, the ones who aren't helping people, and let's go see what's missing. Because something is inevitably missing. Something was taken, probably drugs, probably money. We need to find out how much.
Or maybe something more valuable that we don't know.
If it's more valuable than that, they probably don't even
So
know.
you go down and look, and as they start uncovering everything like that, actually nothing is missing. There was definitely clear indication that some of the pursers and ship's personnel had gone in there to secure everything.
Secure.
Your estimation is that the intent was to destroy the ship and therefore destroy this shipment. Doesn't look like a theft, it looks like a sabotage.
Team meeting later.
Well, let's skip to that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
Everything is all good.
we skip ahead to
Children are appropriately comforted.
you've gone in, you investigate everything. As far as you can tell, nothing was taken. Maybe a couple of handfuls of some drug or another, because when the guys were like, yeah, I might just take a little bit for myself kind of thing.
He's like, I'm going to die.
Again, checking on the merchandise.
Right. But you gather the team together. So you guys are all in a ready room on the Avenger at this point. There's reporters, and Uniso has actually dispatched local people from one of the local offices to kind of do the PR, dealing with the porters thing, so that you guys can be left to kind of do what you need to.
All right. So, drugs were a thing on this ship. Quick, easy, to the point.
Very eloquent.
Yes. Nothing was taken other than the usual, again, crew members checking on the shipment. Other than little bits here and there, nothing was taken. This was meant to destroy everything. So I say we find the leader of this cartel. It's going to be a long list, but we need to find all the enemies who have the ability.
So to be clear, the Montenegro cartel, this is their ship.
Yeah.
So it would have been somebody
Specifically,
Yeah,
an
exactly.
enemy.
attacking the Montenegro cartel.
Yeah, we need
So-
to find out.
Sounds like competition.
We need the whole list of their enemies
And
to
we
find out
can
who's
narrow
this.
we can narrow down that enemy list to who has that power set beside Storm Rider.
Yeah,
I
and
don't-
the resources.
I
But it
don't
wasn't
think we're
magical.
looking at a power set here. I think we're
Yeah.
looking at some type of machinery that they've taken or they've found. That's what we need to be looking
Yeah,
for.
so like who would have access to that?
So
So-
are you doing this with the captain of the Avengers around?
Probably, yeah.
So, Montenegro cartel, I've got some knowledge of them, and this is a new low even for them if they're using passenger ships and risking people who are on vacation for their.
It's probably because most people don't want to deal with civilians. Civilian deaths equals a gesture to the news vans outside, like that equals this.
But
Someone's definitely trying to shut
so
them
it's
down.
somebody else who's willing to do something. But my concern is, where did that come from? How did they do it? I think we need to make sure that that's not used again.
Yeah, definitely.
You have an idea?
I have a feeling that it's going to be extraterrestrial tech. That's what I'm kind of getting here from just things I've heard in the scientific community as well as my own research. This is definitely what I feel like we're dealing with here. It's not going to be a person, it's going to be more likely than not some type of machinery.
Yeah. He walks over to those classic tables in the middle of the command center, but he hits a thing and brings up a 3D holographic kind of thing of the the local area. How far do you think something like this could do such an intense storm? Because we're talking about a lot of power.
Was there any? We know if there's any aircraft or anything like that over, before the storm hit? If they saw anything flying over?
It might be worth investigating.
All right.
Would
So-
I have any idea of that kind of range, or is it just a
You
little?
want to make a technology roll?
I do not know technology.
Ah.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Well, make a science roll, but it's going to be harder.
Okay.
You're not supposed to lose that.
That's 3.
Okay. Go ahead and make another investigation check
All right.
as you're going through and checking records and stuff like that.
That's just the 6, right?
Yeah.
All right. I got 4.
Okay. So you do get records that some sort of a spotter plane
All right.
apparently was seen just before the storm rolled in. Your estimations are the level of power that would be necessary. You have to be fairly short range
Mm-hmm.
for something, no matter how alien tech it was, unless they were running off a satellite system. But if they're running off a satellite system, they could probably burst a much bigger storm than that.
Yeah.
You're guessing somebody's adapted the tech in some interesting ways, but maybe not, with perfection. So it would have to be fairly short range, maybe within a couple of 100 miles at most.
Any chance there's something on the cruise ship that could
Can
have?
we track it?
Can you?
I don't know.
How would you track
Can
it?
you?
Maybe.
I don't know. Look back in time.
Yeah,
See
I
where the
was
plane
thinking.
came from. Hint, hint.
Nod, nod,
Yeah.
hint, hint, wink, wink.
We're gonna
Nudge, nudge.
track it back through time.
Okay. Well, because you were able to find out, you were able to find out what it looks like, and you were able to find out generally where it was. That
Okay.
gives time lapse a place to actually focus, your time vision. So yeah, roll a perception check
Straight up perception.
to look back through the threads of time.
Maybe we can even find out where it
I'm
lands.
surprised you're not allowing super senses to be used in this.
3.
For this.
Well, what super senses do you have?
I have astral sight.
You don't have any enhanced. You don't have super senses at a higher level, though, right?
No, shouldn't.
Well, let me look.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. I'm just. What was your perception?
Mine is 7, but I got 3.
Okay. So you have a pretty good idea that it flew back off towards a little chain of. There's like you look at the map as you kind of study where it flew off towards. It kind of reaches the limit of what you can see, but its heading was directly towards the Cleophas Island. There's actually a small set of 4 islands off the west coast of Mexico, and it seemed to be going to the southernmost one, Cleophas Island.
Can I try to look back to see who/what was entering the facility at around the time before the
The
storm?
facility.
The what you were
Area.
just saying, the area.
The island.
Sorry.
We wouldn't be able to see it.
You saw
until
the
we got
plane.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Yeah, we
didn't.
wouldn't be
Alright.
able to see it until we got there.
Evidence. So
Do we have any satellite imagery of that Cleophas Island?
They can try to pull some up.
We should do that.
And we just head over there.
So let's head over there.
I mean,
Or
I-
we,
I would
we could
prefer-
wait for satellite imagery, or we could just drive over there.
Okay.
Trip.
We could try to.
And the Avenger is headed that way. Now, I could pull up this big old Unisaur cruiser, and they could see us coming, and then destroy all
maybe
evidence
we
or
could break
whatever. Or maybe I hold up, a ways out, then you
So
Do
we do
something
have
a little less-
three
I was about to say, yeah.
people.
obnoxious.
I can.
Or we could
swim.
just break in.
Yeah.
Why
Like,
not?
Because if you're
I
flying,
can
they
just
can still
fly,
see.
Yeah.
and I can cloak us in holy fire, so that it just looks like a second sun. And
That seems very
That's
conspicuous.
conspicuous.
I don't think that's the way I want to
That's
go.
not so much with the sneaking.
no,
So they're not
I
gonna
don't-
be like, oh, it's the second sun that comes
I can
by
scout
every
ahead
day.
though. I
yeah,
can.
I was trying
I
to
can
bullshit
find-
my way
No,
through
I
it.
have-
It wasn't
I
happening.
obviously
I
can
have
teleport.
Yeah.
a submarine. It's not like full on a tech sub, but it
That'll
is
work.
submersible.
I can teleport.
Show off.
But can you run across the water while your time is frozen?
Well, I mean, the molecules themselves are
I can-
frozen.
Yeah.
So the point is, how are you going to get all of you together there?
I can make a portal.
Ah. Well, then why don't you use the submarine
Mm-hmm.
and get within whatever distances work for you, and then go from there.
Okay.
It is my pleasure to help these superheroes figure out how to do the superheroing.
Yay!
Thank
In
you.
addition to piloting my boat.
You know, that sounded kind
I'll
of
see if you can
passive
get a
aggressive.
raise. I'll see if you can get a
It
raise.
might have been passive aggressive.
Haha.
Would you like me to scout ahead first, and then I
Yes.
can send it
I'm-
back with
That
the...
would be
I'm
Great.
vaguely amused whenever I'm dealing with new teams. It is funny to watch them go through the process of figuring out what it is to do. This is not my first time, as the Americans like to say, at this rodeo. So, you're going to go scout ahead.
That
Yes.
phrase.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm going to skip right ahead to this because they don't have any way of being able to pierce the veil of a dolphin.
Yeah, it would look
shark,
like a
or
dolphin
whatever.
essentially under the water.
So, shoreline. Dock. Looks like a couple of prefab buildings. They're really high tech looking and cool, but they look very like they're not indigenous at all. They look like they
Yeah.
just came up there recently. Like, there's this big dish type thing that's on top of this thing.
Ooh, I don't like the look of that.
Destroy the dish.
And there are a bunch of guys in black security type outfits with balaclava and goggles and stuff like that. They've all got these really cool looking weapons and stuff.
Classic bad guys.
Classic thug bad guys looking.
Do I see any areas where I feel like we could easily find our way in?
So you could
On
go
the
around
finish line,
and
yeah.
try to come in from behind, or you could just hit them from the front, or whatever.
We could do half and half.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's a very
recognize
good team,
that this
yeah.
group is not stealth
Yo.
oriented. So if you had a commando team, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they are patrolling. There's guys everywhere. They're patrolling, everywhere. So unless you've got some sort of a SEAL team or whatever like that.
Frontal assault.
Yeah,
They'll
just-
never see it coming.
Now, you will see as you're watching for a little while. Now, this is important because if you watch for a little while, I'm going to ask you to make a covert check,
Oh gosh.
plus 3 dice,
Oh. Cool.
because
okay. I look like
plus 3 dice indicate that you are some innocuous animal, but these guys are pretty sharp and might notice something odd about what you are.
that is fair. I look like a dolphin, but a little bit scarier.
You have more teeth.
That
Num, num, num.
is
Num, num, num.
3 successes.
Num num.
Okay, well, I also got 3 successes, which means I got 0 net successes, which means one of the guys kind of looks over a second and then just shrugs. The ones I'm describing, they're wearing, they're also wearing sort of like a black, but it's got this aquamarine kind of looking thing, and it's got some interesting symbols across like each of them. Then there's a handful of them, and they look pretty impressive. They've got like submachine guns and holsters on either side, and swords or other paired weapons.
They got ninjas.
And they definitely have a sort of ninja-ish look to them. Make an academics roll.
Okay.
Gonna need smarts for this.
2 successes.
The symbology looks vaguely Korean to you.
Okay.
Beyond that, you're not
Vaguely
sure.
Korean. All right.
And there's also some Korean, or if you're right, those would be some of the things on the prefab buildings also look Korean.
Okay. All right. I'm going to return to the group and kind of share this information.
There you go. Make a streetwise check.
Alright.
Does anybody else
That is
like high
a 6.
streetwise?
I have a
I do.
3 streetwise.
I have a 6.
What's your streetwise?
5.
Okay, take plus 2 dice.
Alright, so
Because
that's
both of
8.
them are helping kind of parse.
But also a charm of 7, so
Doesn't matter in this
Okay,
case.
I got
It's streetwise.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, what he just described, you would know. Those guys are Bronze Moon Sulsa. Sulsa, S-U-S-L-A, is basically Korean ninjas. And that means these guys are obviously part of the Bronze Moon Syndicate out of Korea.
Alright, guys, we're dealing with ninjas. Short, sweet, to the point, we're dealing with
All
ninjas.
right. Then can I suggest we have our 2 heavy hitters in the air come in and distract as the rest of you come up to
I say,
support an assault?
You said you can do a portal type thing. You guys distract, we sneak in.
Okay.
I don't think you even need to sneak in, but I think if we provide a distraction at least
About to say
from
we'll
the
make
air,
a big distraction.
because I
don't
mean,
worry.
it's
I
going to
know,
be
we
a
should still
dinosaur
sneak.
and an angel.
Yeah.
I think
So we just kind of
Gotta
swoop
fly.
in, and all of a sudden a mammoth just plummets from
That
the
was my
sky.
plan. You fly in as a pterodactyl, and then you come down, and then you just
Turn into a
Hi.
mammoth.
Okay, and then we can.
and you
We're
guys seem to
We're very
forget the
sneaky.
flying
We're very
elf.
good at our jobs.
But
guys.
we
Well,
have
let-
higher hitting.
Best
say
thing,
let
right?
them do the distraction. We can do.
We're
it.
acting tanks.
Each of the T's represents a group of 5 troops,
So
and each of these guys represents a
Perfect
Sulsa that
timing.
you've spotted.
Alright.
And on that note, we will take another quick break, everyone.
break.
And then when we come back, it's battle
Fighting
My
time.
favorite.
on Cleophas Island against the
Yes.
Bronze Moon Syndicate.
We got ninjas.
We're fighting ninjas,
you have
guys.
Korean ninjas. which is
Korean
like,
ninjas.
We're being kind of, I don't know, not racist, but maybe not culturally sensitive.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are out in 3, 2, 1.